So far, we've imported our workpieces, we've made a base plate, and now it's time to add some support structures. Support structures in fixturemate are made up of extruded shapes. They can be rectangular, cylindrical, conical, or we can create a custom shape using these nodes that we click to place. A rectangular shaped support would be suitable here, a circular shaped support would be suitable here, and custom shaped supports are suitable here. So let's create them. Let's start with the rectangular support. Using the crosshair, click to define the center points, and then move your mouse outwards and click again to define the edges. Fixturemate will automatically set the height so that it just touches the bottom of the workpiece. We'll adjust this in a second. You can also adjust the size of the rectangle in the left-hand menu. If you can't see this menu, you can right-click on the dot at the center of the support structure and then click Edit Parameters. Let's change the height of the support pillar. We want the height of this pillar to reach this reference face. If we right-click the dot at the center to bring up the context menu and click Set Height, we can then click the reference face with the crosshair and the height of the pillar will automatically adjust. As you can probably see, there's a huge interference right now between the workpiece and the support pillar. This will be dealt with, but first let's place the other support pillars so we can deal with all the interferences in one action. If we wanted to place another rectangular support without having to choose it from the menu, we simply hit the spacebar and you'll see that the crosshairs appear, and then drag and place the rectangular support as before. Using the spacebar to repeat the last action applies to lots of different elements and can save a lot of time. We're going to use a different kind of support this time around, so let's press the undo button to roll back the change. Now let's place the cylindrical pillar. The process is much the same as before, except we're drawing out a circle instead of a rectangle. Left click to define the center of the circle, and then drag outwards and click again to define the radius of the circle. You have the flexibility to change this in the left-hand menu if you need to. The support pillar will automatically adjust its height so it just touches the workpiece. Let's inspect this a bit more closely by hiding part of the workpiece. If we right-click the dot at the center of the workpiece we want to hide, this will bring up the context menu. We can then uncheck Show. We can automatically adjust the height of this support pillar so that it reaches this internal face. Right-click the dot at the center of the support pillar and choose Set Height, and then left-click with the crosshair where you want it to reach. With that done, we can now bring our workpiece back into view. Right-click the workpiece's center dot to bring up the context menu, and then left-click Show. And there it is. Now let's place the custom shaped support pillar. To create the custom shape, we're going to click to place a point until it forms a closed shape. This will then be extruded upwards automatically to form a support pillar. If you haven't saved your work in a while, you might get this reminder pop up now and again. This is just to remind you to save your work because Fixturemate doesn't store anything online. If this gets annoying, you can choose Don't Show This Again and it will disappear forever. Our custom shape is ready and it's extruded itself upwards automatically to just touch the bottom of the workpiece. If we want to alter the custom shape, we can click the dot at the center and then left click and drag the points we need to change. Let's deal with the interferences. The fourth item in the left-hand menu allows us to subtract workpieces. This will subtract the geometry of the workpieces from the interfering support structures. Here we have the option to define the global offset, which will apply to all support elements. This value can be fine-tuned to enable a snug fit when the workpiece is fitted into the fixture. We can hide the workpieces again to see what this has achieved. At this point, it's just a case of fine-tuning the position and shape of the support structures. To change the position or shape of the support structure, it's just a case of clicking and dragging. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, it's really just a case of personal preference. That's looking a lot better now. It's also possible to define an offset per support element. This can be set in the left-hand menu when a support element is selected. This is known as a local offset. The effect of this is that this rectangular support element will have a different offset to the other support elements, which have the global offset applied. If we had a 3D printed base plate, these support elements would be attached to the base plate. But because we've chosen a perforated panel, we need to have a way to attach these support elements to the base plate. All we need to do is right-click the center dot of the support element and select Mounting. We can then click to activate the surrounding red dots of the support element to indicate where we want it to mount to. If we make a mistake, we can right-click and select Delete to delete the red dot, or we can just left-click and drag to move it to a different hole. And there we go. Something that would take multiple steps in CAD software can be done in just a few using fixturemate. If we were to use a custom metal or wooden base plate, we can place the mountings in completely custom positions, with the option to snap to a grid. Let's jump back to where we were. Now it's simply a case of repeating this process for all the support elements. Now all we need to do is reactivate our workpieces so we can see them. We can still change parameters of our base plate at this point if we need to. For instance, if we edit the mounting hole distance, all the holes for the mountings will realign themselves to the nearest hole. Let's set it back to how it was. With our supports in place, there are just a few more elements to add, which we'll cover in the next video.